So something I wanted to hit on real quick, as you've probably seen in prior videos, the car was at one point white and it looks like it turned red. No, the car didn't turn red, but I just changed cars. The prior car was a 1978, which, although the chassis itself was a great condition, prime for this type of K-swap and everything, very little rust and whatnot, this just simply was the wrong year for California. So I went out to look for a 1974, 1975 or older to make sure I didn't have to make the car pass smog in order for it to essentially make this K-swap work. It's a great car. It's in really good condition, pretty good paint job, it being a 1974. So I was pretty happy with it. Just thought I would let you all know, in case you're wondering why the car color changed. It was just the car. Okay, folks, so I think maybe this will be a good time to give you all a tour of the engine that is going into the K124 swap. This is a K20Z1 that came out of 2006 RSX, about 200 and something thousand miles, so it's a pretty high mile engine. You'll see I'm using this from the K-Tune swivel head thermostat housing. It also has a Skunk 2 low profile racing valve cover. I like it too because it's got a couple extra ports. So I'm running this port here for my catch can. Got this one covered. It does have the original stock location, which is also shaved down a little bit, which is great because that then helps it fit into the car, because it has to. That part of the engine is going to be butted up against this part of the firewall. So that's pretty nice. This, however, is really interesting. Now this is here. This has got adapter plate. This is the adapter plate to the Miata transmission. And then this is the custom flywheel. And then it's got a stock street clutch on there right now. So this flywheel and this adapter plate are all from K Industry, the K Miata guys. Since we're talking about stuff on those guys, is the oil pan. So you can see down here, this oil pan here is, you can see it's a custom shape. It's actually shallower in the back, and that's important because it has to be able to fit in the car, and sit right over the cross member. And this is the stock Fiat 124 cross member. It has been modified. It's been dented down and shaved just a little bit on top, and then split here and dropped a little bit as well. I do have to weld that closed, but I wanted to use a stock one because they're a good unit, and I want to just minimize as much modification as I can to the car itself and to those bits and pieces. So the work you have to do to make this work on that cross member is pretty minimal. So yeah, that's it. That's sort of the walk around of the motor. Everything else is pretty much stock. This over here is the Miata NA 5-speed transmission. Now this is obviously not the one I'm using. I'm going to show you the one I'm using in a second. I just want to quickly talk about some of the things you have to do to make it work. Starter would actually sit on this side because it would basically be on the passenger side of the car. On the K series engines, the starter has to sit over here. So you have to notch this out to make it fit. Let me show you what that looks like in the car. And that's exactly what this is right here. So right here, you're looking at that notch that I had to cut out. It's pretty small. It's not much, right? It's just very little. That's all I needed to do. Once that's cut out, the starter will fit just fine. So since I have all the other parts out, I'm just going to go through what I have here. This is a dual core radiator I got it from Rywire. It's perfect size because it actually fits pretty well in the car considering how much space I lose with the bigger motor. So yeah, let me get that out of the way and show you some of the other stuff in here. Custom made exhaust manifold. This is using a S2000 exhaust system, and I just used a K series exhaust flange and then just sort of reshaped it and attached it, extended the pipes a little bit. I put a bung down here for the O2 sensor, and she's good to go.
This is the K series plenum, intake plenum or intake manifold. Now this is also made by K Industries for the Miata, because you can see this is essentially facing the opposite direction of what a stock in a RSX, TSX direction that the intake manifold would go. In other words, the throttle body is pointing the wrong way. Great unit. It fits perfectly. It clears all of the stock bits and pieces that are already in the car. The big concern, this is the first thing everyone asks me, hey, can you fit the engine and still keep the stock brake booster? Yes, you can. With this manifold, you absolutely can. You have plenty of space. Let's go look at some other things. Yes, I know it's a big mess in here, but I did want to quickly point out a few things. So I do have the engine harness installed and tested. This is the adapter harness. The engine harness is still in the car. Look, parts of it are here. I am using a Hondata, kind of a Hondata ECU. When I say kinda, it's sort of a Frankenstein. It's a Hondata converted ECU with a another daughter board. I'll do a whole video on that and explain it. The most important thing, of course, is going to be getting that rack and pinion system in. Once that's done, the rest of this stuff will kind of come together. So anyway, next video is going to be me modifying the rack and pinion system and putting the brackets in there and getting that in there. Once that's done and I'm happy with it, I'll follow up with finishing up the steering mechanism and getting the rack and the steering column all attached. That should be interesting. There's a lot of curves that I have to go there. I need to figure that out and make sure that works. But it's essentially get some brackets attached here that can attach to the rack and pinion, do some modifications here so I can get this attached to the steering column, and we're good to go.